So today we're going to talk about the main part of this whole project, the part that actually started this whole project, the music.
At first, of course, the song was piano solo, and then the beginning of the song and the end of the song were relatively easy because we heard the music box in it. The middle part became a bit more complicated with a saxophone and piano in it.
Well, we actually had some experience with playing MIDI saxophone before from the keyboard, and it turned to be pretty well. Of course, cannot be confused with the live one, but it turned to be pretty well.
So those parts were easy, but it had to be still full orchestral arrangement. And what about it?
Yeah, so my usual approach, not just in this project, is to look for some similar projects to get the inspiration from. And one of the main ideas in this whole song was revolving around bewitching, about witchcraft. So you'll be mine, bewitched and overwhelming, and this is where I cast the spell, and beware of frozen dreams. So it all suggested some kind of witchcraft, as I said. And so it happened not long before you wrote the song. We watched Into the Woods. And Meryl Streep, well, though she said she'll never ever play witches, but she was quite a witch in that movie. That was great, and I felt like in some songs in that movie, the mood is similar to what I heard in your song. So we opened YouTube and started looking for those songs, and found one. And what was that instrument that was actually there, and it made that sound like in bewitching scenes? I think it was there.
Was it a bassoon?
I guess so, yes. And we added that bassoon, the lows of the bassoon, kind of like walking, mysterious walking in the woods, and we added it to the actually not to the bewitching part. It was interesting. We added it to the beginning, to the first part.
Mm-hmm. So we decided to use the bassoon for the parts that are beginning, which is quite suspenseful but yet dreamy and bewitching. Those sounds really got you into the mood of the song.
The piano in the song was also a pretty special choice because, well, the piano was the middle part, the main part of it. It's your instrument after all.
Yeah.
But I wanted to have some special sound, some Snow Queenish sound for it, which is both icy and crisp, but at the same time it's warm. I didn't want it to be cold, and it may not make any sense to be icy and warm, but we actually knew some piano with such a sound, crispy and warm. The Giant. It was actually pretty special piano and unique piano, the biggest piano in the world.
Also happened to be handmade.
Like the necklace, yeah, just a bit bigger than the necklace, yeah.
Right, and I remember this trip, the magical trip that you have given me 2 years ago. We got a chance to play on a real giant piano in Germany, where we met a lot of musical friends and the maker of the piano. So that experience was quite magical. It was like I was sitting inside the piano. I experienced all the sounds from inside because the piano is so giant. Right?
Yeah, it's like two-story, and it's like a church organ, and you're sitting on the second floor on the balcony.
It was floating on those sounds, and it was really inspiring for me. So unfortunately, we couldn't bring the real thing into the recording.
But I would say that the one from Native Instrument, the virtual version of it, it sounds pretty cool. And we actually made it to sound like
the real giant.
Like the real giant, and that sound that we wanted to achieve, warm yet crispy.
Yeah.
And all the other ideas, they were born just by listening to the original piano solo and trying to get different moods from different parts. Like, for example, we added some runs on flutes to add to suspense, like it kind of adds to suspense. And then we added rhythmic cellos to emphasize the dance and the rhythm in the tango part. And then we also added some horns in the culmination parts to add to the drama. Like, horns always add that drama. And also, what was that? And emotional violin, just to make the emotion even more penetrating where we wanted it to be, that penetrating, longing emotion. So I won't go into the details, but that was pretty much the approach.
I would like to mention the vocal part, which was so much fun with the help of my vocal teacher, Diana Sharp. I had to not just sing it, well, you always have to act it, but in this song it was really overacting, and it was new to me. We had to practice those funny exercises where, for example, I had to sing a scary but excited scale, or become really operatic to the like joy of my neighbors with open windows in summer.
What do you mean by scary scale?
I don't know, she just made up those simple exercises that were not simple but fun. Like scary and excited. Okay. Something like that. Or full opera voice, which I never had, but I started having. That was much fun. And those are the bits and pieces from which we actually made the song.
So, for example, when you sang like "We'll Never Have to Fall," how did you sing that fall? I remember that one.
We'll always have to fall.
That's nice. So I wanted the vocal part to be as perfect as we could get it in our studio, because the vocal part is the center of this whole song. It's a theatrical song and you're acting. So we even invited Diana to come to our studio during the recording session.
Yeah, I remember it was so much fun. Because with her assistance I could overcome many different obstacles. For example, English is not my native language, it's a third or fourth one. So the little things like pronouncing icicles instead of R, I didn't know that there was a real difference. Icicles were like apple, and I had to really open my mouth for that. I didn't know. That was fun. So this song had a few challenges for me to overcome, starting from the big range. From the lowest sounds to highest sounds, it had to be full voice, or sometimes whispering but very clear. And I had to be full on my highest, so we had to do those opera sentences like Bella Signora, but much higher, and that was fun. Reinforcing.
Oh, don't try it now, we didn't warm up.
No, I didn't, but fun to remember. And I'm really thankful for this experience.
So, well, we recorded the vocal with Diana's help, but I got another concern about the orchestration part, because we are still learning, and this is quite an involved project, and I didn't want to mess it up. And learning experience,
we
learning.
are still learning, literally.
Yeah, so it's literally, it's pretty heavy. I don't know about what's inside. I'm not a musician, so, but yeah.
So it's all funny. Artie is not a musician, but he has great ears, and we have great friends musicians, more experienced than us in orchestration. In that matter, we really liked having Jeff Torres by our side. In fact, he already did a few of my piano solos arrangements, and he did a great job on them, so we trusted him with this song.
Yeah, we knew that he's the guy to do this. Yeah, and I think he enjoyed it. He added, he didn't change a lot to our original orchestration, but he tweaked it here and there, and you could really see the difference between those who just learn to the one who actually got some experience. And another question that we got was about the overall production. We did the orchestration digitally, but I dared to dream about hiring a real live orchestra to record this song. It would be absolutely fantastic if we could afford it, but this time it wasn't within our budget. So the orchestration remained digital, but I still thought about what other instrument in that whole arrangement could benefit from replacing the digital version with an acoustic one. And we both agreed that it would be a saxophone because, digital saxophone sounded digital. So we started looking for someone to record the saxophone for us, and luckily we did some session recording for some songwriter from Germany, Dirk Redloff. He asked you to record the piano for his song. It was actually quite interesting song, quite interesting recording.
I remember.
Yeah. And he also asked some saxophone player to record the saxophone line for his song. And this is how we got to know Gdaliy Garmiza, the saxophone player who recorded for Dirk. And then we wrote him an email and asked him if he's willing, if he has time to record saxophone for us. And he agreed, so we got the only acoustic instrument on our song was actually the saxophone. The rest were virtual instruments.
Come on, well, not the only one.
Why?
What about my voice? It's also
Yes, that's right. I just don't think about the voice as an instrument.
But it is.
My bad. Two acoustic instruments then, saxophone and your voice.